theme song for Gear Podcast. We're back. Mate, what's going on? It's been a long time.
Oh, not too much, mate. How have you been?
Been a long time since I did a pod. Mate, I've been all right, mate. It's been it's been a long and lonely life without talking to you every week. But other than that, it's all been pretty cool. Been busy. I've been a bit sick too, for probably the last 4 weeks. So that's no good. But mate, bloody, it's just just living, just watching the Fremantle Dockers kind of get back into contention. So that's exciting.
Clawing their way back into the conversation. That's what they're doing, mate.
Exactly. What about you, mate? What have you been doing? You been all right?
Yeah, been relatively busy. I've actually been able to spend heaps of time at home, which has been nice. Had a few gigs, much travel. Joined the exclusive, illustrious Troy Nabber Band Club, as it's known.
Yep.
And did a gig at Optus Stadium last week. So I put a bunch of stuff up on the channel that people will be aware of. I just want to say as well, you know what has warmed my heart in the last time since we did a podcast, Troy?
What's that?
The number of people who listen to the podcast who have wrote to me or spoken to me and said, when are you guys doing another pod? I've listened to all of the episode and I want more. So it is nice to be appreciated. Thanks to everyone who tunes into this. It's good fun. And I want to be back on the horse, mate, because there's a lot to get through, a lot going on in the world of guitar and guitar noises and
man. Well, it's
the Fremantle Dockers.
I don't know if there's a specific reason we haven't been doing this as much. It's just been I don't know, just general busyness, I guess, because we're just a couple of busy boys just living our lives. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's hard to fit stuff in the week sometimes. It goes really quick these days, I find. Not like when I was a kid and every day lasted 12 months, So
you're sitting at school being like, man, it must be close to lunchtime and it's 9:05 in the morning.
Yeah. And man, I had the month from hell, without getting too much into it. It wasn't bad stuff. It was just busy, busy. Everything was busy, and to not waste too much time, but I had some funny gigs. I posted on my social media a couple of pics from a gig I did about 2.5 weeks ago. So it was an interesting one. It was weird. I played a fun run marathon type of a thing, and I played some rock guitar, but it as it turns out, it was in the pouring rain. So my Charvel got a bit drenched, and unfortunately the fretboard started lifting off it after the gig. So that's had but that's had to go in for service. So Tim's on the case. He might be listening to this right now as he's fixing the guitar. I also had my Explorer rained on too the night before. So I'm just been a lot of playing in the rain. But anyway, so it's just been lots of random gigs on, lots of sessions, lots of mixing, and and more importantly on my end, mate. You know this as well, because we have spoken. In fact, I did see you 2 days ago as well, so it's not that far. I'm probably going to quit music, mate. It's all over for me. You know why that is. I've discovered the world of 3D printing.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have,
and
big
so
dog.
All I care about.
I have these hammer space 3D printed.
Oh yes, yep.
Foot switch toppers.
Not the other thing, which
not the other things that I'm NDA'd, but Just a little backstory. I went around to Troy's the other day and he was like, mate, check out this 3D printer. What should I print? And I was like, print me some foot switch toppers. Within 45 minutes, we've got these. And they're awesome, man.
Yeah, they're good.
They're purple and they work good.
I need to print some more out. I need to widen the hole. Those are ones I found on the internet really easily. So I didn't make those. I didn't design them or anything. I just printed them out. But very useful. So, mate, that was very good. That's the biggest update in my life. It's my kid's birthday tomorrow as well, so that's exciting. So everything's leading up to that. I might go buy him some Lego as well after we do this.
Hell yeah.
Before my session in the afternoon. And anyway, mate, have you got anything else before we... Because I'd like to talk to you about the stadium gig, mate.
Yeah, well, there's always lots of fun pieces of musical equipment that have come through here. One thing I'm stoked about, Troy, and it's a travesty that I sold the one that I had. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. But, sometimes you sell a piece of gear and you're like, I might regret this, but it's easy enough to come across. So, look.
Oh, nice.
Bobo. Gonna hang on to this one forever. Also got an SD3, which is sweet. So I think they're my two favorite Boss pedals. But this just sounds good and is purple. So, that's one of the... Is Don, is good, exactly. There's been some other stuff with some demos which are coming with some various bits and pieces I've got in here. A lot of people would have noted that obviously I'm not in the old space anymore, but the new space is getting there. You came around a couple of weeks ago, so
it looks good, man.
You know what the vibe is.
Because I think the last few pods we did, were they just in your lounge room?
I think so,
right,
yeah.
The Tommy pod was the last one, I think. We did Tommy, we did the Brett, the one before that, and then there was a couple of others before. But then it's been the long sabbatical. The last Tommy podcast, which I don't think I said, it's quite funny because like I had to bail early so I could go get my car because my car was like exploded, and I was like I felt really bad about it. Like here I am talking to Tommy Emmanuel, one of the greatest guitar players of his generation, our generation. I'm like, sorry, Tommy, got more important things to do. My car's just been fixed. Got to go pick it up. But he was still a nice guy.
That was a bucket list moment. He was a legend. I didn't get to go see him play, which is a shame. Because I had my birthday dinner.
That's right. Didn't get to spend your birthdays together, hey? He could have got you up on stage. You could have played some ragdoll songs with Tommy Emmanuel. He would have just followed.
Oh, imagine embarrassing myself like that. That would have been a game changer.
What would be the funniest song to play with Tommy Emmanuel? Just you and him. Doesn't have to be a ragdoll song. Like old time rock and roll. That would be fun. That'd be quite funny.
But see, I know old time rock and roll, so it wouldn't be as bad as possible. I feel like if he did something that was, that required like some rockabilly chops or some bluegrass or something, because then I'd just suck so bad, and he'd be great. But like I'm talking, what's the funniest? I've seen like a bunch of.
Like, what's the funniest? Like, what would be the most ridiculous song?
Oh, the funniest.
Yeah, not the hardest.
Probably, I don't know, some Dragon or something, because he was in Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Play April Sun with him. That'd be cool.
April Sun in Cuba with the Tommy and Man Dog.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Tommy and Man Dog.
I don't know. That's
Tommy and Mad Dog. He's probably
pretty good.
He'd never been called that before, I would say.
Yeah. Let's go out. Let's get him back on the pod, and just for that.
Yep.
But yeah, instead I just nearly embarrassed myself in front of 56,000 people with my wireless pack falling out.
Did it really?
Yeah, if you see the footage, it was so... I'm just jumping the gun with your question. I'm stealing your thunder, mate.
I already asked
Stealing your thunder down under. So I did a video about this, but thanks for the gig, one.
No worries, mate.
And yeah, for anyone unaware... Troy just kind of messaged me and said, hey, heads up, you're going to hear from an events company about a gig at the stadium. So the Socceroos, the Australian national football team, or soccer as we call it down here. Now, Troy, Kane, let me just pull up. Calling soccer football makes sense. I remember getting in an argument in primary school with this kid where I was like, well, when you think about it, in Aussie rules football, you use your hands, so it's not strictly football. But in soccer, you can't use your hands. You can only use your feet. So it's truly football. And he was like, nah, soccer.
Well, you can use your head too.
I found that very unreasonable. Head ball.
So there you go. Yeah, in basketball, all you need is a basket and nothing to play it with.
Yeah, you don't, well...
What's a cricket?
Kick the footy to yourself in the backyard. That's what I did for about the first 12 years of my life. So, and I turned out fine. Anyway, back to the thing. Yeah, so for the soccer, it was at Optus Stadium, your stomping ground, mate. So, yeah, it was nice to get the opportunity to, I was out on the field playing, where they have the center circle, like the middle of the pitch right before the game. So that was pretty cool. Super, super pro organization, I guess you trained them well, right? They knew what to expect when a guitar player came in to make some noise.
Well, they've done it a few times, but you did it differently because you had the wireless on, which I hopefully will get. I guess next week when I'm in. This time next week.
I can't believe you've done that gig for so long, cabled. That's unreal. That's
there's a reason for that though. I did one wireless and I had a Line 6. Whatever their stomp box size wireless thing was, the G50.
The relay or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and it was cool.
G50, yeah.
Yeah, G50, I think it was. I'd used it in a few other gigs, but I bought that unit specifically because it was reasonably small, so I could put it in the bag with the AX8. But it lasted it worked for probably 60% of the 1 minute that I was out there. And so the dropouts meant that it was just not feasible. I think that, so, you know, for those of you that have seen me videos or whatever, heard me talk about it, like I'm on the top of the stadium. The first couple of years I was on like a walkway, so that was pretty easy, but I'm on the like a specific like platform that like it looks like a half a semicircle. It juts out over the top, graded floor. There's like no like railing or anything around it. So yeah, the first time we went out there with the wireless, it made so much sense because it's like, well, we don't want to fall off and hurt anybody, and the distance is quite far. But reliability is the most important thing, and like wireless is always a pain in the ass, like in every situation, because it does drop out. Despite like, I know a lot of people now have the X5 like in-ears, and they're awesome. Like I've used them a bunch of times. Like you gave me one, I think, to test out a long time ago, and I bought another set as well. And that's great when it's like, you know, you're in the back of a pub or you're playing to it like a few people, like 100 people or whatever it is, and the stakes don't really matter. But man, like you experienced, you had what 57,000 people there. I think I saw the number.
Yeah.
So that's not a situation where you can risk there being dropouts and stuff, because you only get one shot.
Exactly.
That's the other thing too. It's not like oh look, we'll do it better next time. Like same as me. Like you only get one shot to pump everybody up, and then the situation's over. So it has to be reliable.
Yeah,
so,
if you're up there going like, oh wait, oh sorry guys, whoops.
Yeah. So I said that's why we ditched that specific wireless unit. We went with cable after that, and the cable has been fine and it's been reliable. It's like a 10-meter long. Oh, am I still there? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, mate.
Oh, it's weird. Something just dropped out. It got really quiet for a sec. Yes, sorry. Cut. Yeah, going with the cable, it's reliable and it's fine and there's no issues. However, like being out there, what's become a bit of an issue now is like they put a camera behind my shoulder. So I'll turn to play to the camera and then I'll turn to play to the stadium. And in the process of doing that, it's really easy to get tangled in the cable. So, yeah, it's actually becoming a bit of an occupational health and safety risk. And anyway, they've got, for you, I'm glad they sussed it out, because like, I mean, you were really in the middle of nowhere. Like it's not okay.
Man.
They're not going to run maybe not 100 meter, but like a 50, 60 meter power lead just so you can set up your presumably your FM3 or your FM9 or something like that.
FM3.
FM3. So it's just...
and that was a conversation the day before of like, how are we going to do this? And also, what if it's wet? Because it's the middle of winter here and it rained a lot the day before. So yeah, they were able to basically MacGyver together an existing wireless transmitter. So I think they had a Sennheiser lapel mic. So basically it was an 1/8-inch cable to 1/4-inch cable, like just the different jacks, like a TRS jack for one. So I was like, ooh, okay, cool. I hope everything's wired properly, because otherwise it won't, in a mono guitar jack, it might not see the signal. So that'll be a problem to solve. And then the wireless receiver was XLR out only. So to go XLR to like a 1/4-inch. Gain staging we didn't even think about. We just did it and it made guitar sounds and there was enough saturation. So I'll be really curious to hear how you go with it with your rig. Yeah. But the fact that I could be like 300 meters away from the box and still have ears and guitar work perfectly was awesome. Because I don't know, it's not a feeling I've ever experienced where it's like just me and a guitar and you literally walk into the middle of the stadium. There's like nothing else around you and you play and then you hear electric guitar like everywhere and you're about as far away as possible from all the speakers and gear.
That part's really weird, hey?
I
did. Well, actually I've only played on the field once, and that was maybe this time last year. And I had my... earphones came out, actually. One or both came out during the song, which is very difficult because then your only reference of time and, everything is coming from the in-ears. So I managed to like kind of sneakily, maybe not subtly, but I jammed one back in there to do the gig and it was okay. But man, like when you're out there, you're basically on your own. And it's about 160 millisecond delay or something like that. It's not easy to play with. It's like not only is it not easy, it's like it's impossible to play with. So
people who complain about 2.5 versus 3.5 milliseconds of latency between modelers, that's not an issue. That is an issue in a stadium.
But it's fun, man. Like I'm assuming. Well, so every time I do the gig on the stadium, I'll always play "Crying in the Rain." I just play that riff. It's my it's a fun song to. I'll take the earplugs out just to get the ambience, the reverb, because it hangs on for so long. It's like a reverb that you've never played. Like ignore the delay side of it, but the like knowing that you're moving that much air is pretty like powerful. But that's a good one to test it with. Because anything fast, you don't really hear the notes, but you can just really it just really works well. But yeah, I'm assuming you got a chance to hear that and experience that too, which is pretty fun. Like just
man, it was great, and they made it so easy for me, which was nice. So the luckily both performances went off without a hitch. I just put up a little bit of. I just got the sort of pro shot version that they sent me. So I did, Thunderstruck, Sandstorm, which was just what a vibe. And then they walked me around to like the fan zone. And I played Land Down Under in front of a whole bunch of people. That was cool because I could interact with people. You know, you're only 5-10 meters away from the actual crowd on there. And they were super happy. It was a great experience. It was very, very fun to just kind of ham it up. And I did feel sorry for the camera guy having to chase me around the whole time because we did the rehearsal and he was like, if you just like maybe instead of the pace you were running around trying to get to everyone, do like 3/4 of that. And of course, you get excited during the gig. So in the back of my head, I was like, slow down, just like walk, don't run. It'll be fine.
I did one. The one time I was on the field, man, I really started doing laps. Like it was quite funny.
Yeah.
No, you weren't there at the time, but I remember years ago seeing local singer sensation Darren Reed at Ascot Racecourse, and they were doing a gig for whatever it is, the races.
Daz.
But there was a stage at the end of this really like quite large paddock. It wasn't on the racetrack or anything. It was like a little oval thing. And he had a wireless mic, and I'm not kidding, man. He was doing like laps of the oval as he was singing.
Did he get on a bike?
He didn't get on a bike, but he would have been running like 200 meters. Like it was a long and just doing laps, singing. There was 10 people there at the time too. It was before everyone was like there to watch the band. Like before everyone filtered in. It was very, very funny. I felt like him. So anyway, mate, stadium.
There's a photo of.
There's
a photo of Daz somewhere on his Facebook page where he's doing one of those gigs, but it's him laying on the ground and he's singing to a dog. It's one of the best photos I've seen, and like it sums Darren up so well. Like no fear, on 11 at all times. It's great. It's like him and the dog's here, and he's sort of like handing the microphone to the dog to sing. It's just I love it so much. But Troy, on the topic of stadium and stadium boys, let's get into the meat of this Gear podcast episode, because I thought it would be very cool to talk about the new Line 6 Helix Stadium, and we can go through it and talk about it. So
it's very cool. I wouldn't say it's unexpected.
It's the Helix 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, when did the Helix 1 come out? It's been a good, 12 years or something, right?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, so I guess the background to this product announcement is they did a sort of Helix 10-year anniversary live stream with it, going through the history and things like that. So I do remember when the Helix came out, everyone was like, oh, cool, Line 6 are trying to do the Axe Effects thing.
Yep.
And it's very much become its own thing, which I think they addressed pretty well in there. But, I mean, for probably 5 years, people have been like, when's the Helix 2 coming out? And the long list of it needs capturing a touch screen, and that's probably, I think, would have satisfied a lot of people if they just did that. But they have crammed a lot into this thing, man. The first thing that I find quite funny, Troy, doesn't the version without the expression pedal kind of look like an AX8?
Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely does.
With the raised up, right? So that was the first thing. I was like, that's the form factor. I really like that they've got an expression pedal and a non-expression pedal version on there.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, the Helix, the LT version and the not LT version, I guess, it's... is it one expression pedal in one and two on the other? Or maybe it's just the features are cut down. I can't remember. But that kind of that would have made more sense for the LT version. Just take that off it. But who am I to talk about product because I've never fucking done it before? So it does look good though. That looks really cool. It doesn't look, presumably it wouldn't be so big because the Helix is big. Like the Helix floor is quite a big unit. That I'm going to call it the AX8 sized one. It looks like it's probably a little bit bigger than the AX8. Maybe a bit wider.
I
maybe
saw
a bit taller.
someone did a size comparison somewhere. Maybe we can bring it up in a bit. Yeah. But it's, and I guess a testament to like what Line 6 do, where there's always some kind of, let's call them like moonshot features that may or may not be used. Like, did you know in the Helix they've got the key commands thing?
No. What does that do?
So you can program a custom like keyboard, computer keyboard shortcut to a foot switch. So if you wanted to like loop a YouTube video or trigger something in Ableton, I only learned about that the other day. So that was something that's just in there, which I'm sure they were like, yeah, maybe no one will use this, but we'll put it in. Obviously there's been 10 years of development there, but their specs are pretty interesting. So they've got a new modeling engine that they've called Agora, which sounds like a kebab shop, but good on them. There's the next level, all this kind of stuff. The new modeling engine, I think it's another component-based style thing. Touchscreen, so new modeling, touchscreen. That's 2 out of the 3 things I think people wanted. But what's interesting, right? Still lots of knobs.
Yep. So it's a tactile,
which I like
experience.
I think the combo of like twist a knob, use a touchscreen is a really good feature on there. And I mean, look, they've had the Helix came out and had a really great user interface on it. Was really easy to use. You didn't need to read much more than the manual to get going with it. So nearly every other product has been chasing that in terms of UI. And I think the big things that have come along are things like, obviously the Quad Cortex having a touch screen, the Fender Tone Master Pro. It does kind of look, you've got the AX8 style box. You got the like Tone Master Pro Quad Cortex style touch screen. So just they've learnt from the competitors.
Yeah, to interject for 1 second. So I mean, it's the component-based modeling thing of the major players that are out there. So you've got your Axe-FX or your Fractal, you've got your Kempers, you've got your Neural DSPs, you've got your Fender Tone Masters. Let's just call those like the main guys. So of those, this is that component-based modeling is closest to what you'd find in an Axe-FX device. Is that correct? Like Fractal sort of device?
Yeah, versus like a basic capture style thing like the Kemper.
But then that, which maybe we'll talk about as well. So there is that component of it as well with the, what do they call it? The proxy?
Yeah. I don't think it's out yet, but I think that's them sort of going, well, obviously there's open source solutions like Neural Amp Modeler now. So I think they've made... they've designed this so that they'll be able to implement something like that. So it's something that's not in there at the moment, right? And hey, remember the Quad Cortex was going to host plugins at launch and still can't load all their plugins. So,
but I guess this is
if
like...
they supported any...
Yeah, no, go on.
Oh, I guess if they support it slightly better than that, then people will be happy, right?
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I mean, it sort of seems like the greatest hits of all of the best big dogs in one box.
Yes.
That's also mass-produced. And I say that in a good way, like, because whenever it was, like, when did I get my AX8? It would have been like 2018, 2017, I think it was. But I remember going back and forth on it quite a bit, thinking that it would probably be smarter to get something that's like the Line 6 because, there's just like lots of them. So like the support base is going to be more. If one dies, you can probably just go buy another one really quick. Whereas the AX8 at the time was really hard to come by. So I think
that's the thing. That's why the Stomp is one of the best pieces of gear ever, because you can walk into a music store in like anywhere in the world and buy one.
Yep.
Right?
The touchscreen side of this, I haven't used a modeler, or I guess, is it fair to, or this is a modeler, I guess. I probably shouldn't say all of them are modelers, but go on.
Yeah, we'll get to what I think this is definitely beyond a guitar amp modeler, which is nice. I think primary function is make guitar noises.
Well, let's call it that for the sake of it. But I haven't really used a touchscreen on a device like this. I've obviously used touchscreens on other like iPad driven mixing consoles and all that stuff. So that's cool. So I don't know functionally how important that is, other than everyone's doing it now. So I'm sure if it didn't have that, that would be a bit of an issue for people. But
yeah, one thing, say using the Quad Cortex or the Tone Master Pro, there's less menu surfing because you can just put stuff. So having a touchscreen is one thing, but then designing a UX to go with it to make it easy to use. And that's some of the stuff that looks like they've done really well. One primary complaint, and this is my complaint about every modeling device, and I'm immediately putting this out there, Line 6, you're going to have so many support tickets because of this. You see this, Troy?
Yeah.
The back of the unit? See where they've put Control AB?
Oh. right.
That should be the instrument jack.
Right.
The instrument jack should be as far to the other side as possible. And it should be the first thing you plug into. That's my hot take. I will never step away from that one. Any modeler that does that, I'm immediately like, oh, this is annoying. And yeah, you can use your eyes, but, plug my thing in. Obviously, I plug it into the first jack. No sound. What's happening? So, yeah, that's one very, very minor complaint.
That's so funny. I wonder why
I only just
do that. Although I think the HX Stomp has it laid out in the same way. Maybe it doesn't. I've had a look on the side of that for a bit, but on the back.
Hey, and again, how many devices have I designed that have sold tens of thousands of units? It's obviously fine, but that's just one thing on there. I mean, it looks great. The touchscreen looks great. There's a couple of really interesting features in there. Focus mode on there will let you just basically touch different parts of the screen and move it around, and it will move a whole bunch of parameters at once. So you'll be able to go like to the top left, say you've got a Plexi and you've never really played one before. So it'll be like, oh, cool, crunchy, clean, super distorted, smooth, having those starting points. And then you'll have those parameters reflected on there. So if you don't know how to dial an amp in, I guess you can start with those focus mode, like broad strokes ways of dialing it in.
Yep.
And then look at the parameters and maybe, I like that idea of it sort of teaches you how to use the amp. So that's one really cool feature in there. And I think that works across all the effects on there. Which is, hey, it's cool to have a touchscreen, but again, building a UX that actually works with the touchscreen is really important.
Well, you and I, we've done so many episodes where we've discussed modelers, and it's like every single time we bring up that Line 6 does that side of things probably the best of any company. And it's cool to see that they're still forward thinking with that stuff. To be honest, I'm probably less likely to use that side of this program. I'll just twist the knobs because I sort of know how they're doing. But also, that's because I've got all the amps behind me and I've done this for a while. But yeah, it's useful. Even I saw they have a lot of information on the amps and effects and stuff built in. Like you can hit a button and it just shows you what it is, which is educational.
Yes, I really like that as well. Yeah, exactly. You don't need a manual or a wiki or anything.
You don't need a fucking YouTube video with some guy in where are you now? Yanship, teaching you how to use your amp blocks. You just read the thing.
Like you, I can retire and start 3D printing. That's the dream. We'll just make peripherals for this Helix Stadium.
Yeah. So I did appreciate that. And yeah, like we were saying before, the tactile, the knobs and stuff, that's all the same, which I think is really great. Because I've really appreciated having had it a Pod Go and an HX Stomp and used both quite a lot. Going between them is really seamless. Everything kind of works the same.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that part of the, the launch video where it's we've just kind of kept it the same. To be fair, Fractal did that between the Axe 1 and the Axe 2, I guess it was all sort of similar.
Yep.
When you go from that to the Axe 3, there's obviously a shift, so things have got to change. But if the interface is good, then why fix it? I appreciate that.
Yeah. Another thing is also there's built-in audio clips so that you can audition presets on there, which I think is a really cool idea.
I've used that so much. I think I stole that from you when it came to just dialing in Axe Effects presets. Just put a looper at the front and then play something to dial your sound in. Because man, there's something I still hate is I had it we caught up the other day and did a little bit of playing, but it's so funny when you're playing through studio monitors or equivalent to hear guitar sound at the same time that you're hearing string noise. It really makes things difficult. It really has made, like when I'm dialing guitar sounds for people through the amps even, like it's got to be screamingly loud for me, because I just feel like even having it really quiet really like messes with my brain, particularly when it's something dirty, because you have that clean sound. I'm like, why does it sound so clean still? What's weird about it? And that's what it is. Obviously, if you're using headphones, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But through speakers, it makes a difference. So yeah, very cool.
Another really interesting feature is this new showcase, and we were talking about this and getting pretty excited about it, right? So I'll let you talk about it, because I feel like this would be really handy for a lot of gigs that you're doing.
Yeah, I need to look at the specs a little bit more, but it sort of jumped out at me. So I've said several times, like the rig that I use currently with the HX Stomp for the guitar amp sounds, the Boss RC500 for looping and for drum machine sounds, and then I use a Morningstar controller to control it all. But it seems like all those things are built into this one box, not in the exact same way. But yeah, it looks like there is, I guess, some form of a backing track loader, I suppose. That might be a bit of a rudimentary way of explaining it, but it was funny because in the video, he's like, oh, imagine you bring your old roadie mate from down the road and his mates all come and like press buttons all at once, and this is what this box can do for you. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, as he goes into it, yeah, if you can, if you're able to control backing tracks in some way from this unit, like I use the, I guess, MIDI style or whatever they have that in the Boss RC500 just to run drum tracks. Yep. And those are ones that I wouldn't even say I programmed them. I just picked the appropriate drum loops from the RC500 library and play them on like presets. But yeah, this seems more like you can load a track in and then it has some sort of stem separator built into it, so you can take the guitar parts out and whatnot and just play along to those. That's very, very cool. I mean, you can do that in other software. Like generally speaking, there's heaps of other music like stem separator processors out there. But yeah, to be able to do it on the box, even as a practice tool at the very, very least, then that's really cool. But to just say like, load your track in and pull the drums out and just play that at a gig. It's like, all right, everybody, we're going to play, well, you were playing it the other day, Bruno Mars Treasure. All right, everybody, we're going to play Treasure, but we've got a drummer and a bass player here tonight. Let's just mute those parts out of the song and then hit bang to start. The track plays, you're off to the races sort of thing. So I'm really interested to see how that is all implemented. I'd probably say like how the way that I do a gig, I don't know if I'd be immediately just, using the tracks like that. I'd probably still try to program my own drum parts and my own like song templates, that sort of stuff in. But yeah, even if you've got the ability to, go to different parts of the song within like a foot switch, if you can queue up like verses and choruses and have loopers attached to that as well, that's really interesting. Yeah, for how I do a gig at least with my duo stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I'm one thing like that's really, really cool, but obviously waiting to hear how good the stem separator is. It's one thing to have one in there, but if you've used any stem separation, like even the difference between Isotope RX8 and RX10 is pretty massive. RX8's pretty good, and then RX10's like actual magic level amazing. Or there's a few what is it, Moises, or however you say that, which is an online one. So there's also all the MIDI automation stuff to play backing tracks, but also if you've got, say you're a band that plays with a bunch of your album stems live to click, you can then, you don't need an external MIDI sequencer or laptop to send MIDI to the Helix Stadium. It's just in there, so you can program patches and do your entire set list in that way, which I think is a really cool extra option in there. It's sort of like they're pulling a bunch of these desirable features that, none of this is new, but a lot of it exists in the plugin world. So I feel like Line 6 are modern Line 6 anyway, and the people who work there and design these products, they understand that guitar players aren't hip to all that stuff. Not all guitar players are hip to that stuff. So putting a feature like the backing track player and stem separation, I mean, there's a lot of guitar players who would be aware what a Helix is or an Axe-Fx, but would not be aware of stem separation software because they just don't live in that world. So it's like, hey, here's a new magic toy to play around with and have you play a whole bunch of guitar. Oh, and also you can use it to perform with. It's not just a practice gimmick, right? So it's, when I was first seeing that, as you said, I was like, why, who cares about this? This is just some like perceived value add. But I immediately was like, whoa, yeah, you could actually do a lot of things like this. I mean, how many times you've been at a gig with Nick where he's like, do you know this song?
Yeah.
And it's not programmed you could just, oh, cool, I'll use the built-in Wi-Fi to download the song, pop it in there, stem separated in the set break, take the vocals and the guitar out, and then just play along to it.
Yeah.
Or someone requests a song at like a gig or a wedding, and you're like, well, we don't have a keyboard player, but, hey, we can download this and hack away at it and, like it doesn't have to be amazing. It can just work.
Yeah, having that option in there is so good. I think it's just like it takes so much to program this stuff sometimes, and I don't mind doing it. Yeah. Like you used my my board a couple of weeks ago for a gig, and it's like to get the Morningstar controller to MIDI control different patches and load them up and stuff. Like it doesn't take that long to do. But it still involves like a lot of looking at MIDI program changes or CC commands, and then, having the channel set correctly, and some of that you only do once and that's all fine. But it's just lots of different boxes all talking to each other in unintuitive ways. Where it's like if it's all local, and that's really what it is. It's like, oh cool, like one box is now doing what like 5 would do. Like I looked into using Ableton for live performance stuff a couple of years ago, and the reason that I didn't really pursue it was because I didn't want to leave a laptop on stage when I went on a set break, and it's really as easy as that. And particularly at the time, like I was doing gigs at the not Belgian Beer Cafe, the Brass Monkey in Northbridge. So I remember like Friday afternoon, like 5 or 6 o'clock gig, and you're on stage, middle of like lots of people. Anyone could just in a set break or even during the gig just like rip it off. It's like it's probably I guess you see iPads out a lot, and I haven't seen anyone lose an iPad yet, thankfully. But
you take your iPad off the stand and put it in your guitar bag in between sets, right?
But if you like unplugging a laptop if you've got a lot of other complicated controllers or whatever, then you never know if it's going to work or not. Like that was an issue for me with the I was using this is unnecessarily complicated as always, but I was using OnSong on my phone, which is just an app that I've had. I bought it years ago when it was buyable and not subscription based, and I was using that, so I would have a song loaded into the phone, and then I could send like MIDI control changes from that via Bluetooth to a WIDI jack thing that was connected to my Morningstar controller, which was great. So it meant that I could literally just hit one button on my phone and it would just do all the changes. But I found consistently, like again in a set break, if I left like the proximity of the stage, I would lose connection to the WIDI jack, and then to get it back would be really inconsistent. So I stopped doing that. So yeah, it's easier with a wide connection, obviously, but then you never know. Like if you're running audio interface stuff, it's probably not that safe to just pull your audio interface out and expect everything's going to work afterwards. If it's all in one box and ready to go, then you're fucking laughing, mate.
This isn't so much a modeler as it is a workstation, the same way we might talk about a keyboard workstation, right? Mm-hmm. Where you used to have separate sequences and sound modules and MIDI interfaces and stuff like that. And then eventually it all ends up in one box. And what's the Korg unit, the Kronos? Have you ever seen one of those?
Yep.
Yeah, where it's like all your keyboard sounds, like so many sounds at the same time, your set list, your sheet music, any sequencing or MIDI stuff you want to do, it's just all in one box. And you can just, if you're a touring keyboard player, you just spec that as backline, pop your SD card or USB stick in, and then there's your rig. Mm-hmm. So it seems like they're far expanding on, they could have just put out a Helix 2 with a touchscreen and updated amp modeling. And again, we haven't heard the updated amp modeling. They're talking about a new engine. I'll get excited about that when I hear it. But this stuff and the the way they've seemingly implemented the usability, I think is really cool. A bunch of the like digital audio side of it as well is really cool. And they've got the expansion box. I'll be really curious to see what they do with that. But yeah, it's like a different type of product for guitar players. I can't think of anything else that tries to do all this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, try is the big word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I do trust Line 6 to put out a functional product. You know, like they've been doing this stuff, you know, as long as anyone.
Yep.
And I do appreciate, like, okay, I don't know why with the proxy thing, I don't know why that's not ready to go yet, but I suppose it's better that when you've got all the other stuff, if that's functional and the amp capture side of it is not ready yet, I'm sort of happy to wait. I don't think that's the main thing when you've got so many other boxes that are going to do that. I mean, I don't know really if it's probably not going to be better than a Kemper, probably not going to be better than a Quad Cortex or a NAMM. Like, it'll probably be as good as all of those, but not going to like change anybody's life, or Tonex or anything like that. So yeah, just focus on the other stuff. Probably people that are using the Line 6 stuff now are using it for what the Line 6 stuff is and don't need that functionality, I would say. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm really into this this device. Like you mentioned the I/O stuff on there, that looks pretty cool too. I said to you before, like how the Ethernet output, or how the Ethernet side of it works. I'm really curious to know how that can be integrated into other systems. Like, I don't think it's a full network audio thing, like a Dante or AB. What is it? ABB, whatever it is.
Yes.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's that sort of protocol, which probably doesn't really matter that much anyway. But you know, if you can just remotely be like sending all your audio around with like one Ethernet cable, that is very, very useful. I mean, obviously it's not going to be power, but that's fine for a device like this.
Look, to just go slightly off topic with it, I think with brand new, like obviously all these companies require, at some point they actually have to sell hardware so that they can make a living. So you do see a lot of perceived value ads on products, where normally means just like a bunch of half-baked stuff that other companies are doing. So they add it in there, right? Like capturing is all the rage. So there's been a few companies which are like, oh, we put out a capture player, but it's not fully thought out and it's outperformed by other things. Or I at least like with this where, let's say you've been using a Helix for 5 years. And you know how to use it, and you use it for the Helix stuff. And you go, well, I'm playing in a gigging cover band, or I'm playing with a touring band. Being able to have one box that can now control automation is pretty cool. That's that would let any band add that if the guitar player has to get external gear. So that's pretty cool. The capturing, I think if you're someone who's in the Line 6 ecosystem already, I think loads of people are going to be pumped about that. And I'm really curious to see how they implement the sharing aspect of those, which is a pain in the ass with Tonex, is a pain in the ass with the Quad Cortex in particular. Like, oh, I've just got to go to the Cortex Cloud app on my phone and follow someone and get them to like release this thing so that it's public so that I can get it. There's no way that the Quad Cortex is doing like hardcore machine learning on that box. It must have like an index in there or something. Whereas Tonex is doing the cloud-based thing, having the cloud-based capture thing. Look, I think a lot of people are going to be really into that, especially if they're existing users and they know how to use it. The usability stuff, the matrix mixer on there to route stuff wherever you want it. The fact they've still got knobs in the touch screen. It's nice when you see a really big company seemingly consider all the wild requests that idiot guitar players have on forums and in YouTube videos, and they go, well, the way that person's suggesting it maybe won't work, but what if we take that idea and actually make it functional and go way beyond it? And that's for digital audio stuff like this, I massively appreciate. Like, if you're going to use one of these, Oh, and there's that, I don't know if you saw the hype knob feature in the
that was interesting. I liked that.
Again, we'll wait to try it, but great idea where it's like, hey, here's an authentic 1968 Plexi, and you've probably never played one of these, but guess what? They're pretty gnarly sounding. So turn the hype knob up to the point that it sounds good to use. So that best of both worlds of like authentic and idealized, I think is pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
The other thing as well, obviously having a massive company like this put something out like this, it feels like when the Helix came out, that was like, hey, okay, this is the bare minimum we expect in a product now. Everyone else has to follow suit. Feels like that 10-year cycle now. It's like, okay, cool, this is going to be the bare minimum set of features. What cool actual functional things that aren't just perceived value adds can you offer to users?
Yeah.
I think, we're just seeing that stuff really. And also with the machine learning AI stuff, what are they going to do with that? Are we going to get to the point where you're like, type in on there, like, make me sound like Eddie Van Halen, and it's like, do you want For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge or do you want Diver Down? And then it just puts a rig together. I would not be surprised if they implement that within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's fine. I don't touch anything with all that, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, think of how many people buy these things and go, oh, how do I make it sound like some obscure record that only 3 people have heard about? And they get a bunch of advice like, hey, bro, turn the bias up to 3 and the ripple down. It's like, no, I'll let the box,
just let the box
train itself on a bunch of user data and then spit that out. Yeah. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Unlike other established players who have put out
yeah,
I mean, and look,
let's just briefly talk about it, because we can't go forever and ever on this stuff. But yeah, do you want? We're talking about the Kemper 2, ladies and gentlemen, very briefly for probably about 5 minutes. The old Kemper 2 dog. What thoughts and feelings, Leon?
I don't know. Whoever they're paying to run their marketing should probably get fired, because it's like the most underwhelming launch of a product I've seen in a long time. Whereas whoever's running marketing at Line 6, give that person a promotion, because they nailed the launch so hard.
Just quickly, just rewind 12 years, okay? Just in your brain, rewind. I'm back in 2013. Imagine that with like praising Line 6 for anything, like really, like praise. Oh, have you seen this new Line 6 product? Oh wow, like how amazing! And poo-pooing like anything Kemper does. Like, I think Kemper was like 12 years ago, but yeah, isn't that funny? Funny how things change.
It's like Line 6 are the Gold Coast Suns of guitar tone. And finally in 2025, we can get excited about what they're doing.
Yep. I mean, so with the new Kemper thing, I've probably spec-wise looked at it in less detail than you have, but by all accounts, it's like there's not really many changes. Like I saw conspiracy theories about it, how this is going to be it's like not even the Kemper 2, it's the Mark 2 or something, or someone put a YouTube video up and mentioned that. It's like, so it's like there's no new capture technology yet. Is that correct?
Yet.
So it's just the same old captures.
They've got a new capture technology coming out. I don't think the hardware is really that different. I mean, just keep in mind, like the original Kemper's like, what, 14 years old now?
Yeah.
And it's basically a Mark II product. So people have made the comparison. It's like, well, hey, Fractal put out like the Axe FX2 Mark II and the FM3 Turbo. It's like, yeah, but they were like a year or 2 years apart, where
this is 14.
The part that they were using, like say the FM3 Turbo, they couldn't buy that part anymore. But the successor to that part was slightly more powerful and probably cost them the same amount of money. So like, well, we'll just use that. Oh, and it's slightly more powerful. So we could just do nothing. But of course, you want to sell units and you want to market your product, because that's what we do. So you go, yeah, we've got a slightly more powerful chip. It's a value add. Whether you find value in it or not, I guess is up to your use case. But this is, after 14 years. And frankly, the market moving past them, like the machine learning approach to capturing is more accurate than what the Kemper does. It's not an opinion thing. It's like if you do your null tests and stuff like that, the sort of, even the basic null test stuff, it's like it just measures closer to a real amp. Whether that's desirable or not, that's up to taste. But it's a shame, because it's such a cool, like, it's sort of like a guitar amp head. And it does have that thing of like, oh, I've got my amp, I'll capture it and then take out something kind of like a guitar amp head, the powered version anyway. But yeah, they've added some more effects to it. They've overhauled the chassis and there's a new screen, but it really feels like a product that if it came out 10 years ago, probably would have done well. But just launching it without the new firmware and without the new profiling tech is weird to me.
Like they could have just waited.
I can't think of a company that's done that. Yeah. Why didn't they just wait? It just smacks to me of like, we've got word through back channels that our competitors are about to launch a new product, so let's launch first. But you just have an underwhelming launch, and then the competitor comes out with something that they've clearly put heaps of work into. It's like, crap, I haven't done my homework, so I'll do a really bad job of the homework, but I'll hand it in before the deadline.
Yep.
So I seem like I'm ahead of the curve, and you're like, this. So Homer Simpson on that nuclear physics exam he does, where he hands it in and he's so confident, and it's just all wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the vibe. So, I mean, there's still loads of Kemper users out there. I'm sure if you're an existing user, you can see the benefit in that. The way they launched the profile player with the tiered paid things, it's an outdated model, man. I can understand why people are angry about it.
Like, I like the Kemper that I've got. I have used that quite a bit over the last however many months I've had it. It's a great device. It does what it does really well. It is really comfortable to play. So from an actual sound perspective, I've come around them, but it's always been a little thing with them with me. I'm not sure what it is, but I've kind of got over that. So I'm not a Kemper hater. I just think that's real kind of piss week of a launch, unfortunately, and doesn't really make me want to go out and buy one. Like, in if it's 6 months time and they've launched the new capture technology, maybe I'm probably not going to go buy one, because I don't think it can be that much better than the products I already have. But I would be more inclined to be interested. Whereas like with the Line 6, man, I'm really keen. I don't know if I'll go buy one at launch, but once some more demos come out and I can see what it can do from a practical side for how I run it, it really does tick a lot of boxes. If it's someone from Line 6 wants to hit me up and give me one, I will show you how I can use it for a gig. And I will shill my little heart out, mate.
I think we've cackled on enough about all of this so far. We'll see you all in the next episode of the Gear Podcast. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Peace.